Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Emerging Franchise Brands Podcast. I'm your host, Frank Fiume, here live at the IFA 2024 National Convention, and looking forward to interviewing some folks at this year's event. I'm with Sherri, the president of FranFund. Sherri, nice to meet you. How are you today?
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you so much.
So why don't you share with the audience what FranFund is? What do you guys do and what makes you different?
I'd love to. FranFund stands for Franchise Funding. We work with aspiring franchisees and expanding franchisees across the country to build a funding solution that's customized to their specific situation.
Cool. How has funding changed over the past 2 years, would you say?
Well, for the last 2 years, there's been some government intervention, as I think we all know, shoveling money out the back door for certain people and raising interest rates and that kind of thing. But we've been very fortunate. What we do at FranFund is the 401k rollover, or the ROBS program, Rollover for Business Startups. We also do SBA loan packaging and consulting. And our SBA department has grown significantly. Our volume is extremely high. If we were an SBA lender, we'd be in the top 15 in the country, I think. And our VP of lending has built a portfolio of lenders across the country that will accommodate all market segments in franchising, all loan sizes. And we've added that into our CRM so we can do a lender matching program. So our pre-approvals are very accurate.
Wow. How long has FranFund been around?
Since 2006.
Nice. I remember when you guys started.
You do?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Now, you and your husband started the company, right?
Well, there was a couple of guys on their couch that actually started the company. And then my husband got involved first on the board, and then eventually we took over.
Sweet. And how many IFAs is this for you now?
Oh my goodness, 15.
Anything that makes this one different, or maybe a couple of big takeaways you've had from this particular conference?
Well, I think I love the term smart franchising, and I think that is one that I hope all franchisors are taking to heart and making sure that they are putting people in business that are ready to be in business, and they're providing them with the tools to be successful. That's the power of franchising, is to be able to follow a recipe and be successful. And if the recipe's not right, the success doesn't come with that. So I hope that message was heard loud and clear.
I hope so too. I agree with you. One last question for you. So I interview a lot of emerging founders, and I'm curious to know what's maybe a tip or strategy that you have specifically for my audience of emerging franchise founders.
That is an excellent question, and one that I would love to answer, because what we preach, suggest, coach, try to polish in different franchise systems is that your first 20 franchisees are going to be part of your business for the 10 years that you are in your franchise contract. If those are not your validators, your financial rock stars, your people that set the example for those to come, then you will be explaining them for a very long time, because you'll have to report that in your FDD. And so you're going to want to make sure those people are the most financially prepared to start that business. And I like to use a phrase I wish I had invented, but I did not, which is that businesses fail for a lot of reasons, but being overcapitalized is not one of them.
Ooh, Sherri, that might be the best piece of advice that I've had anybody give on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
it.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands Podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands Podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fiume, or Emerging Franchise Group, LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.